JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 2nd of December 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, excuse me. Yeah, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on that research tab on the top, and it'll take you to this page, which I believe you can find useful. Now, jumping into the charts, the first one I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So just a quick update. We're still kind of, let's say, oscillating around that upside line. I mean, if we can say it this way. It's not a clear indication. I mean, it doesn't seem to show any clear direction yet, because yes, we did have that decline, but it's currently getting a hold up near this upside line, which is taken from the low of the 20th of August. Now, can it drift further south? We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, at the moment, I would say it's a bit of a waiting game here. Some of you maybe are a little bit more kind of bearish here, and we could see maybe this one. Yeah, maybe we could see this one falling further. The only thing is that what I don't want to see here, or I want to avoid getting caught up in something like this here, like for example what we had here at the end of August and the beginning of October, where we did initially move lower. It seemed like yes, it could continue sliding, but as you can see, I mean, we kind of reversed and then pushed higher again. So let's keep that in mind. Shanghai Composite, very quickly on this one. So this one's kind of, I wouldn't say on the positive side, but a little bit more positive than the other indices. Now, previously I talked about this upside line, which no longer is needed. In a way, we can maybe draw this tentative upside line now, but again, it's a bit subjective here, so let's stick to some of the levels. Now, one thing for sure is that we remained above that 3,553 territory and above all of the EMAs. So that kind of gives that slight positivity into this near-term outlook. However, again, I'm not going to rush into anything because again, from the very short-term perspective, for example, yes, we're still trading, and it seems to be that we're trading in this range here, but I think that now it's no longer kind of valid, and we could probably just ignore this and just stick to some of the levels instead. So I'll just get rid of this. I'll get rid of this highlighted territory. I'll keep this one because still this one's quite an important one. What could be seen here, maybe maybe just excuse me guys. Sorry guys about that. So what we could be seeing here is maybe something like a triangle here, maybe a symmetrical triangle forming, so something like this here. But again, it's too early to talk about that. I mean, it's maybe could be the case, but let's see if that gets confirmed. I'll you know what, for the sake of it, I'll keep it on the chart here. I'll remove this upside line, and I'll keep this little triangle. So what it means that maybe, just maybe, the price could continue moving sideways here a little bit and coiling up, and before before kind of exploding to one of the sides here. Again, for now, like I said, I'm gonna keep this one on the chart, but I'm not gonna really focus too much on it because, again, for now, it seems that as long as we stay above all of the EMAs, then there is a slight chance for this one to move higher. However, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. If you're a little bit on the cautious side, what you can do here is just wait for a push above the current highest, well, sorry, not the current, but the highest point of November, near the 3,602 zone, approximately around here. A nice good pop above it could open the door towards those higher levels. Now, jumping into the German index, DAX. So yesterday, DAX had a fantastic performance. It did rebound nicely, and this is what I talked about yesterday, if you remember. And I said that if we do pop back above this, that 15,300 territory, somewhere around here, or maybe this 15,267, 68 zone, then, well, we could see maybe a larger correction to the upside. We did get that. We pushed north. Let me just adjust a few levels here right now. Some of these levels need to be removed. Yeah, so we climbed higher, but the only thing is that we might see this as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Again, not really. I don't want to be very pessimistic here or anything, but of course during the US session we saw the cash index, the DAX cash index drifting back down heavily, and at one point it drifted back to that 15,250 zone. So although, yes, we had that strong push higher during the US session, it did decline again. The DAX is trying to make its way up again. It's currently trading at around the 15,380 zone, so well below yesterday's close. So it's somewhere sitting around here, basically. Now, of course, in a way, this comes in line nicely with this idea of maybe seeing a nice larger correction here to the downside. So maybe this was already enough of a move here to the upside, and now we could see a bit of a decline. However, again, I don't really like these situations, don't really like these scenarios. On one hand, we could still move north here because basically the index managed to remain above this upside line here, taken from the low of the 11th of December, because even if we look at it on a weekly chart, you'll see that the index kind of is still hanging above that line. So long story short, let's see how this is going to play out. Of course, this is what I always keep saying, let's see how all this is going to play out. But anyway, guys, for sure, let's see how this is going to play out. For now, I would say I would take a bit of a neutral stand on this one, because in a way it's like it could be any man's game here. So for now, I mean, it could pop higher. Yes, of course, it could move north, but there is this downside line which could get a hold of. However, if this is what you're aiming for, what you can do here is just probably maybe keep your eyes on yesterday's high near the 15,509 zone, and a nice good pop above it, yep, may open the door towards some higher levels. So just to be, like I said, a little bit more on the safe side for the downside. Now, I have this level here, I have this area, this 15,300 zone, so a nice good drop below it may lead to some lower levels. So yep, for now, guys, unfortunately, it's not very clear here, so we have to wait for a better signal. Now, jumping into NASDAQ 100, and yeah, so drifted heavily to the downside yesterday, and look at this. I mean, we also fell below the low of the 10th of November, which is around that 15,905 territory. So the cash index is currently trading at around 15,873 3, I believe. It seems like that. Okay, so unless my software is not updated, yep, that's correct. So I do apologize, but at the moment I cannot see where exactly it is trading. So yep, it seems that my software, my MetaTrader is not really updated. Anyway, okay, I'll have a look at that later. But long story short, we also probably are seeing now a little retracement here. So maybe a move even back above this 15,905 zone. Okay, basically, I mean, we could see this as a potential head and shoulders pattern. I mean, as you can see here, we have our left shoulder, we have our right shoulder, we have the head. Could this be the neckline? Well, just let's wait and see. But again, of course, if we do drop again below this 15,900 territory, then well, further declines are possible. We could even aim for that 100-day EMA here, shown as the green line, which could be roughly around that 15,357 territory, which marks the high of the 23rd in September and is near the low of the 21st of October. So for now, let's keep an eye on this one. Again, it's not very positive here at the moment. What else could happen here from the technical side? For example, looking at this picture, let me just remove this line here. Maybe I can try it this way. So if, for example, if it like kind of moves back up here, maybe even moves back above this 15,989 zone right here, marked by the low of the 26th of November, we could consider a move higher, but this is where we will have to be a little bit more on the careful side. So just because we do have this downside line right now, which is kind of forming, so in a way, if this ends up kind of pushing or retracing back up, then maybe, just maybe, we could see this one as a possible descending triangle pattern. Again, not an ideal one, but at the end of the day, we just have to kind of consider all the options. Now, just a quick update on the VIX here. I mean, yes, of course, obviously, we had a huge sell-off yesterday, so basically that kind of is reflected in the VIX, so in our fear index. So for now, I mean, what could happen further with the VIX? Maybe the VIX could kind of retrace a little bit. I mean, depending on how everything's gonna continue shaping up with the whole kind of pandemic issue. Yeah, yeah, let's see how that's going to play out. But again, at the moment, the markets are reacting to that, and yeah, can we see a further move higher here on this one? Of course we can. Obviously, like I said, this is for you just to kind of just to examine this. I mean, just to kind of have a second view as well on this, just to kind of monitor. And as you can see, after we kind of reached this key resistance area, this key resistance downside line, it's actually on a bit of a downside line. Yep. We then, yep, we broke it now, and from the technical side, I mean, it could continue pushing higher here because we do have some other targets. Yeah, let's say if we evaluate where it was back in February, the end of February of 2020 and the beginning of March, and then actually the end of March, you can see, well, basically kind of traveled all the way here towards that 85 zone. So again, if we do get to that situation again, then, well, expect maybe the markets to continue sliding. If the VIX will continue traveling higher, then yes, of course, I do understand that the VIX is kind of a reflection of the equity world, kinda. Yeah, at the moment, if we apply technical analysis, let's say on the VIX indicator, then certainly this shows a breakout, and it could still continue pushing higher. So just kind of be very careful around that and around the indices. on the buy side. Now DXY, the dollar index. So here we have a situation where we are just still holding on to this 21-day EMA. The 21-day EMA is still doing its job, providing support. Can it still, let's say, continue doing that? Well, to be honest, it can, of course, but looking at this picture, we are kind of on a bit of a decline here, a bit of a retracement. So maybe if this downside line, for example, continues to hold, then maybe we could see the index coiling up here. So for me personally, I don't like these situations. I mean, I try to leave them until we get a much clearer view here and then much clearer move. So for me, a clearer move could be a break through one of these short-term kind of little trend lines. Gold, very quickly on gold, and here the commodity is, this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday. If you remember, I said to you guys, wait for that daily candle to end, because yesterday during the morning video, we're kind of pushing back above this upside line here, and what I also said that in the beginning of this week, I said that we could be seeing this one as a potential head and shoulders pattern with the neckline being this upside line. Yesterday, as you can see, pushed higher, but then kind of just remained below that 1782 territory by the end of the day, and today we're seeing that kind of decline. Although I'm leaning a little bit more on towards the downside on this one, I would rather stick to some of the levels first, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. So for me, probably I will keep an eye on this little hurdle here, this 1774 territory, because also on the shorter time frame, let's put a 4-hour chart. So yep, you can see that how well this area did provide that good support. I could draw maybe in some sort of an upside line here, but yeah, let's be very careful. Now, in terms of the this little idea here on the 4-hour chart, this is just what I mentioned, or just noticed right now. Basically, this could be seen, maybe, just maybe, again, this is not for sure, I mean, because we need, there's a lot of ifs here, but we can see that we have a strong candle here, which is the, this 4-hour candle here, but then we had these declines, which in these other subsequent 4-hour candles, but all of them are within the body of this bigger rising candle here. So that kind of leads me to maybe an idea of a possible rising 3 method. So I mean, this is where the confusion could be between the bearish what's it called? I mean, the bearish 3, or the bullish 3 methods. You know, those, of course, these are not the 3 ones, but again, we've seen these happening before. For now, I would rather be very careful here. Yes, we did get that decline here, and you can see that this is where some of the bulls could think that, you know, this could be an idea for an upside. However, I still stick to the same game plan of maybe waiting for a push above that psychological 1800 level, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. If I'm looking for some upside, maybe, but at the moment, it's still looking at this daily chart. You can see it's still kind of trading here lower. If it starts dropping somewhere below that 1774 territory, this is where I'll get a little bit more excited, maybe with the downside. Good morning to Evo. Yep, I can see in the chat room. Of course, good morning to everybody else who's right now joining in. Jumping into WTI oil very quickly. So here yesterday, you can see that the commodity did drift lower. Yes, we did correct nicely here, and we're now kind of what's important that we failed to reach the current, not the current, but the lowest point of November near the 64.45 level, and now we're seeing a bit of a retracement. So in a way, we could see that little correction higher here. Let's put it this way: if it pushes somewhere above the 67.43 territory, I'll go for maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the upside towards that 200-day EMA. We could go for, like I said, for the upside a little bit towards that 200-day EMA, and then I'll take it from there. I just want to see what's going to happen after. If we do see such a move, if we do clear the 200-day EMA, then certainly, of course, we will. We could go for a larger correction here to the upside, and then slowly we will kind of just evaluate everything from there. If it suddenly drops below that 64.45 level, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low. Yep, Evo. Yep, those one of my favorite patterns to talk about. So yeah, sometimes they do work out. So you can't kind of take that away. Okay. Bitcoin. So, okay, Bitcoin here is, it's still stuck. I talked about this one yesterday, if you remember, and basically I mentioned this downside line, which keeps getting violated, but we don't see really that kind of the body of the daily candle staying above it. And you can see also that 200-day EMA, 21-day EMA is also doing its job and providing resistance. So, yep, for now, we cannot really talk much here. I mean, in terms of the upside, I mean, until we get that break and a push above that 21-day EMA, then yes, for now, it could still remain to the downside. So keep that in mind. But if suddenly we have a nice little pop here higher, then yes, of course. Higher levels could be met, but at the moment, I mean, some of you might say that maybe this could be forming somewhat of a bullish flag here, maybe something like that. But still, even if you consider that idea, which it's not a very clear flag here, but if you consider that idea, then at least, of course, yes, wait for a pop above the highest high of the 30th of November, which is roughly around here. Near the 59,174 zone. AUD UNZD, very quickly on that before I run out of time. AUD UNZD, this one's again coming back to my favorite patterns. Here the bearish 3 method, the bearish 3 pattern. Okay, this, I mean, I need to stop mentioning this because this is going to be confusing, because there are three types, kind of the bearish. So the bearish 3 pattern, we have the three line strike. Then we have the so-called falling 3 method. So yeah, I mean, I do understand that could be a lot of confusion around this. So probably let me just kind of stick to maybe one. So let's put it this way. I mean, this could be seen as a falling 3 method. Again, I do understand that some of you might not really like these patterns, but again, let's see if that's gonna play out or not. Actually, I do apologize. This probably not gonna be as seen as a could not fall under the falling 3 method. The rising 3 method. It's more of the bearish 3. So so that's kind of where it falls a little bit more. So because the falling the rising 3 method would have like these little smaller candles here. I mean, then you've seen those before. I mean, I don't know if we can see any of it here, but yeah, you've seen those. It's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of sometimes looks like a flag, to be honest. So yeah, so all these little patterns, I mean, they interconnect with each other, and that's why sometimes it's becoming a little bit confusing which is which. Either way, that's why I try to stick to the Dow theory just in general, just higher highs and lower lows, I kind of stick to some of these levels. So for example, here on the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels, I would like to see that strong move below that 1.0419 territory, because it coincides nicely with the 21-day EMA, and a nice good drop below it could attract a few more sellers, especially if the body of the daily candle stays below it. So keep that in mind. For the upside, well, this is where the tricky bit comes in. I mean, I would like to see a push above the 100-day EMA because as you can see, the 100-day EMA is doing its job and providing resistance. Quick update on USDCAD. This one is trading nicely above this downside line, so finally climbed back above it, and so we're seeing, of course, we're seeing a bit of a choppiness here right now, a bit of choppiness, and it's drifting back down towards this downside line. But if this downside line now acts as something of a like a support zone, then yes, a nice little rebound here could be possible, and we could go back to the upside. However, if you're looking to be for something a little bit more reassuring, maybe, then keep your eyes on that 1.2837 level marked by the highest point of November. A nice good push above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and then we could go start aiming for some higher levels right there. In terms of GBPCAD, here it's a bit of a mess, I would say, but quite interesting mess. So it seems like we could draw this one maybe as something of a inverted head and shoulders pattern. Could be the case, but of course, as always, a confirmation is needed. So in other words, we have this area right here. Let me just draw this one on the chart. We have this area right here, which could be seen as so-called a neckline. We have our left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder now. We're seeing higher lows here getting formed, higher highs as well, and can this move higher? Well, again, yes, it could, but I would rather stick to a break of this area and also a break of this 108 EMA just to be a little bit more on the safe side. Now, that's in terms of the upside. In terms of the downside, now, if it starts falling somewhere below this territory, 1.6839 zone, I do understand maybe we could be missing out on a bit of territory, but I'd rather be a little bit more on the safe side. And yep, if we drop below this hurdle, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a decline. EURCHF, very quickly on this one, yesterday declined, did show initially willingness to move higher, but as you can see, yeah, at the moment, I mean, it's just drifting lower. I mean, it's on quite a steep decline, I would say, even. And yeah, so if you're looking for some upside on this one, of course, we can keep an eye on some of these levels right here. Let me just put this one on the chart. So we could keep an eye on this one, this 1.0492 territory. As you can see, it acted as a good area of resistance recently as well. So so this could be that kind of maybe little confirmation of a possible move higher. Again, I do understand maybe this is not something, you're missing out on this territory here. I do understand that, but again, we always try to be a little bit more on the safe side. So for now, I would say as long as it continues to trade below this downside line and below the 21-day EMA, yes, we will continue targeting the downside, guys. And also, if we drop below yesterday's low, sorry, not yesterday's low, but the lowest point of November, near the 1.0390 zone, then this will confirm a forthcoming lower low and potentially attract more sellers. And finally, EURUSD. So this one still is hanging above this upside line taken from the low of the 25th of November. So everything's still nice and dandy here. Keep your eyes on the economic calendar today as well, because we do have a bit of data coming out from the US. The initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims. So yep, keep that in mind. You have the European unemployment rate as well coming out today. So also something to monitor. But of course, the main event could be tomorrow, the NFPs, the US NFPs. So then that's when we could see a bit more volatility kicking in here in this pair. At the moment, we will just continue observing the price action just to see where this is going to end. Okay, guys, I need to jump off the the mic here. Basically, thank you very much for watching and listening, guys. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments, guys. I really do. So thank you for that. And if you want to catch me, as always, tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.